Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. This morning, actor Hill Harper is running to represent Michigan in the U.S. Senate. We're going to talk about that this morning. About it's a crowded race too out of Michigan, so we'll see where CSI actor Hill Harper fits in. Also, a California legislature is examining a recent reparations recommendation. But as that is happening, a Democrat-backed bill is making its way through the House and onto the Senate, and which will require judges in the state to consider a convicted criminal's race when determining how long to sentence them. That is interesting. We'll have that story for you. And the city of Memphis is balking at Tyree Nichols' family's lawsuit, saying that it should be dismissed. Oh, we're going to have details on that. And we got the one and only Barrington Salmon with us. And Barrington,
Yes.
all the way from Africa, all the way from the motherland, is the one and only Austin Cooper.
My brothers, good morning. How are you?
Morning. How you doing?
Wow.
Well,
Always
Austin
good to see you all.
Austin loves you. That's why.
Austin
That's
is
right.
always
That's right. I love you both. You guys, you two are the brothers I never had, and I mean that quite sincerely.
Yeah.
well. You must do because he's out. How's your trip, Austin? Tell us a little bit about where you are and tell us about set the scene for us. You said it's kind of cold there.
Yeah, so I'm in. I guess you consider this, Southern Africa. I got my mental map correct. Zambia is right above. South Africa is to the south of me. It's not my first time here. Not a easy place to get to by any stretch. It was this time I did Ethiopian Air, so it's 13 and a half hours, nonstop out of Dulles to Addis Ababa.
Good food.
And like a three. Yep, yeah, the food was good.
Food is
3.5 hour layover in Addis, and another 5.5 hours down to get here. So the food is good. People are very friendly, but it's a bit chilly. I was not, I just was not expecting uh, to be cold. And you walk outside the hotel, and the Botswanians, I guess is what they call themselves, but our African brothers and sisters here in Botswana are dressed like we do, like in November, December, like the middle of the winter.
That's not good.
So it's not quite that cold, but I do wish I had brought a scarf
Oh,
with me. And if I could just share, Barrington, you didn't hear this, but when we left out of Dulles about 2.5 hours into the flight, I'm looking at the map on the seat in front of you,
Yeah.
and I look up, and I don't need to see at my age. I see no reference to the Titanic. None. Up in my head,
that
like,
is
wait,
a shame.
we're over the Titanic. Whether we, but anyhow, for some reason, Ethiopian Air thought that was an interesting point to make to
Wow.
however many people are on this plane. I mean, it is something that is always on their flight map along with other details of the trip.
You don't need that.
No, not at all.
And speaking of food, now you go quite often to the different countries in Africa. Now, how's the food? What is your favorite food? I should say.
It depends. I can't think of the name. They have a specialty, especially in Nigeria, called I think it's jalapeno rice. Do I have that right, Barrington? I know it's a yellow rice.
Jollof.
That's jollof. That's right.
Jollof
Yeah,
rice.
jollof rice with
You don't want to offend Nigerians and West Africans by mispronouncing.
exactly. Thank you for that correction. No, that and lamb
Oh,
is a nice. It's a nice combination,
Yeah.
and probably one of my favorites.
oh, okay, nice. And you said it was snowing somewhere in South Africa.
Somewhere in South Africa, I was at dinner last night and was talking to someone about how we were laughing at how chilly. He said, "Yeah, I was talking to someone." He didn't say where in the country, but somewhere in South Africa there was snow.
Oh, wow, that is amazing.
Climate change, anyone?
Huh?
climate change, anyone?
Exactly.
Look, when we started the program, Joni King, she wrote "Great Morning" and "Happy Tuesday." One of my elementary school teachers, a woman named Miss Duncan, used to always say Tuesday. Never said Tuesday. Tuesday. So when she wrote that, I was like, oh, a flashback.
I never heard that. That's
Tuesday.
pretty cool.
Yeah, she used to always say that. And I used to say, well, I thought it was Tuesday. So,
So what did she call Wednesday?
well, Wednesday.
Okay.
It was just Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. So gosh. But anyway, guys, Austin mentioned too, Barrington, before you came on about since he's been there, of course. They are like, you Americans are just whacked out. You're crazy with this Trump stuff. How is he running again?
I mean, I keep on thinking about the attempted coup in Germany. I think it was earlier this year or late last year, and they rounded up all them SOBs and put them away. It didn't matter who they were. And these
Problem
idiots,
solved.
yeah, these idiots sitting down here talking about we don't know if we can do anything because he's a former president. I'm like, what's wrong with you all? And I mean, the thing that really just grates me is that half the time that you listen to these so-called analysts on TV or whatever, they're talking about, well, maybe he really didn't know what he was doing. I was like, really? That's where we're going with this now? Because you're afraid to pin the horse on the donkey. That's crazy, man.
Crazy.
Listen, my sisters are watching, so and I mentioned that for a couple of reasons, because they're watching, and number two, my younger sister, Dr. Nicole, she's bringing she got these two little dogs. She's bringing over. We got a little dog, and they're cousins, right? So the girls are all happy, but they realize that their dog, Chloe, is all jealous of when my sister brings her dogs over. So it's gonna be an interesting few days around here. And the good news is I'll be in DC while they. So, anyway, and speaking of American politics, and so we got another celebrity running for office, Hill Harper, an actor known for his role on CSI New York and The Good Doctor, announced that he's running for Michigan's open U.S. Senate seat and challenging U.S. Rep. Elisa Slotkin for the Democratic nomination. Harper is the sixth Democratic candidate to enter the race for retiring Democrat Senator Debbie Stabinov's seat. Actor turned politician. Is that familiar, guys?
Yeah. I mean, if you look, if someone's I guess you call it resume or whatever, he is someone who has been doing the work in community. He has and he has been working with young people.
Yeah, he did so under the Obama administration.
Yeah.
Obama had
a lot of projects, a lot of good projects that he's been involved in. My concern is just that I hope that, with 6 people running, that they don't split the vote in a way that Republican wins. But the good thing that I understand is that, just based on what we saw in the last election, is that the Republicans got their butts handed to them at every level. So I think that if he's smart, and if all Democrats running are smart, all they do is keep up. Well, she's a Democrat, right? Is she a Democrat?
She's a Democrat. Yeah.
Democrat, yeah. And and to Barrington's point, you've got how many? You said 6 running for that Democratic nomination. To me, it's equally important, in addition to what Barrington said, that the other 5 unite 200% behind whomever gets the nomination.
Well, yeah,
we cannot afford to lose that seat. We cannot afford. So if you want to run, and to Barrington's point, he's been. I did do some reading. He's very involved in the community. I do believe that in Congress, It's important to have individuals who have served as elected officials at lower levels of government, but also those like this brother here who have been community activists. So, kudos to him, all the best to him. But I really hope that at the end of the day, no one has sore feelings and walks away because we
He
cannot lose this seat.
he went to Brown University and Harvard Law School. It's an amazing resume that he has as an actor, right? I mean, he went to Brown and Harvard, and he also owns the roast and plant coffee in Detroit as well. So we gotta get some of his coffee. We gotta find out. We gotta reach out to this guy. He's got a coffee plant.
I'm sure
Hmm.
if you call him, Stacey, he'll pick up the phone.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't he?
If I call him or Austin calls him, he'd be like, don't worry about it. But
Nope, nope, nope.
if you call, he'd be like, oh, Stacey, what's up?
You
And
know,
and
yeah.
you would think that I mean, Barrington, you would think that if we called and said, we're friends, we're colleagues,
Oh no,
Stacy is our brother,
no.
that the call would still go through, and he would be offended. He like,
Yeah,
we're not taking. I mean, I don't take calls from minions. I only take calls from the powers that be,
from the big man himself.
for the big man.
See, because Hill Harper is kind of like me. We don't be name dropping us, trying to get in. Hey, what's wrong with y'all?
Hey, we need to be hanging with the folks that live in right here. So we got to do everything we can to get close to all of y'all.
Listen, he was. We talked about his association with President Obama. He was on Obama's cancer panel in 2012, and he himself is a cancer survivor.
I didn't
Um,
know that.
yeah, so he's got a lot of his background is so interesting.
Yeah.
In addition, people will just find his acting, CSI New York and the Good Doc. They'll find that interesting, but it's a lot of depth to this young man.
Well, I hope, one of the things that I always, it's funny because I had a kind of a heated conversation with some folks not long ago, just talking about folks' voting habits and stuff. And they were like, oh, the majority of white people voted for Barack Obama. And I'm like, no, they didn't. And I pulled the numbers. White people generally don't vote for black candidates.
Hmm.
We don't make that type of distinction. But so I'm hoping that that the good folks of Michigan will vote for him based on his merits and not just vote for somebody because they look like them. That's it.
I mean, really going for the U.S. Senate
Yeah.
without any prior elective, body experience is for anybody, a really, tough uphill battle in terms of raising money.
Yeah.
This brother has name recognition, but, look, I hope he gets the nomination and wins. But in the event he doesn't, I hope that it's not the end of his pursuit of elective office. Run for the House of Representatives. Run for the City Council, but use your name and star power to make a difference in your
And the
community.
thing is that if you can have a jackass like Tommy Tuberville as senator,
Oh gosh.
you need somebody like Hill Harper to come in there to balance the scale.
Every time Tuberville says something racist, you say, oh, okay, but then he finds a way of topping even that.
Yeah.
I think yesterday he said something. Someone asked him about how does he feel about the term white nationalists or something like that, and he said that just means that they are true Americans.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's been saying that because he was talking about all of these white nationalists he said that the white nationalists that they had some study or something, and they were talking about significant numbers of white nationalists in the U.S. military, and he was like, well, yeah, what's the problem? They're just patriots, but it to me it's important, and I've been saying this for years, particularly since COVID came around. This is revelation time. These people are doing and saying things that they didn't even know, that they don't even know they're saying, so that we can really know where they are. So nobody can pretend that this fool is anything other than your class A racist.
But Barrington, do you really think they don't know what they're saying, or they're just more
No. They
comfortable
know,
with
but most of the time they're sophisticated enough to use different words.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
listen,
yeah.
what's that
Speaking
dude's
code. Yeah.
name? Lee Atwater.
Hmm.
When Lee Atwater was running Bush's campaign, he had the whole scenario. You can't say nigger, so you got to say welfare, and there are all these code words that in another political time they used to use because they didn't want to make it seem as if they were just out and out racist. Now it doesn't matter. You can
Yeah.
say, you know, Nicole Wallace from Deadline White House always says that Trump gave Republicans a permission structure to do and say whatever they feel in
That's
terms
right.
of race
That's right.
and
That's right.
expressing their racial grievance and all that stuff. So that's what we see.
And let's not forget that in 1988, it was Lee Atwater who designed the Willie Horton
Horton, yeah,
ad, which was just devastating
yeah.
Mm.
to who was it, the caucus
Dukakis.
who was running.
Dukakis didn't seem like he was ready for prime time anyway.
No, he was not. Oh gosh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Power 96 says Tommy Tuberville is the 21st century version of George Wallace. Segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever.
And he won easily. He won easily
Yeah, he won easily.
because he's a former football coach. But
And
if I had my way, some of his old football players should get him behind the woodshed and
Uh-oh.
crack him up. I'm serious because these people like him benefit directly. I'm sure the multi-million-dollar contracts he got because he was the coach is because of the labor of black athletes,
Black players, absolutely.
and black players, and they need to take him out back, man.
So now they know exactly what he really thought of them and
Yeah.
thinks of them.
Yeah.
Greer's mentioning this too. I think I heard the same thing that Adam Schiff is discussing replacing Dianne Feinstein.
No, he's not discussing. He's running for Dianne Feinstein's seat.
Is he running for a seat?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Along with Congresswoman Barbara Lee.
Katie Porter and Congresswoman Barbara Lee.
Yep.
Mm. Well, I mean, come on. She's
80, 87, 88.
I thought she was about 90.
I don't think she's 90 yet. She's
Not yet.
High 80s. Barely functioning. Because I've seen her talking, and she's talking a whole bunch of gibberish. So I guess it's just really weird because Strom Thurmond, they propped him up in the Senate
for years.
When he was he basically was a carcass.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that lends to that argument of term limits. It's just, and step aside. It's just like who is it that comes on our show and always says it's mad at RBG and said that she was so selfish.
Yeah, she should have stepped down.
Yeah,
should have stepped down. Exactly.
They were coaxing her gently and trying to get her to step away so that they could replace her. And because I always think it's funny that these folks in public places and high places and stuff, they act as if they have some contract with God that God told them when they're gonna die. Right? No, it's so amazing because she was in her 80s as well, and she
had
been sick. She had been losing it.
Cancer. I mean, everything. Yeah, everything was going on, and she would not step down.
People were like, "Hey, babes, maybe it's time," and she was like, "Yeah, whatever. I ain't going nowhere." And I saw this meme where, and I don't know if it was her that really said it or just someone just made the meme where she told Trump that she would outlive him, type of deal. But that was a.
Well, she was holding. I mean, she was holding on to that seat, with the expectation that that Secretary Clinton would replace her.
Yeah.
And she died maybe 6 weeks out before the election. Maybe 8 weeks out before the election that September.
Yeah.
And all of the argument that Mitch McConnell, that race has had in terms of denying Barack Obama, Merrick Garland in February, when the election wasn't until November.
Yeah.
Those guys did a complete 360, and a little more than a month before the November 16th election, Donald Trump got his third
Yeah.
nominee on the Supreme Court.
So every time, so whenever people are criticizing the Supreme Court, they should never forget Mitch.
Yep.
Because he was instrumental. And I mean, I'm sure people are sick and tired of me talking about the weak and feckless Democrats because they continue to bring a butter knife to a gunfight.
A butter knife, not even a switchblade.
Oh,
no butter knife.
They're afraid of being cut by the switchblade, Stacy.
Listen, so let's shift to California. A Democratic-backed bill is making its way through the legislature right now, and it will require judges in the state to consider a convicted criminal's race when determining how long to sentence them to prison. Assembly member Reggie Jones Sawyer, the Democratic chair of the California Assembly's Public Safety Committee, quietly introduced Bill 852 in February. The Assembly went on to pass the little-known legislation in May, and the measure is currently being considered in the state Senate. It would add a section to the penal code requiring courts, whenever they have the authority to determine a prison sentence, to, quote, rectify alleged racial bias in the criminal justice system by taking into account how historically persecuted minorities are affected different than others. That is really interesting. Now, this is where they're also hearing, the reparations debate is going on too. But Austin, your take on that?
I mean, good. Why not? It's about time. Judges take into account far too often the race of white defendants.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
Well,
exactly.
it's well. Here's the thing, though, Barrington. Obviously, California is one of those supermajority states, Democrat controlled states. One of the rare Democrat controlled states, I should probably add. So it went quietly through the state house with no problem. And now it's in the Senate. And next step, of course, if it gets through the Senate, is to sit on Governor Gavin Newsom's desk. Gavin Newsom is a Democrat.
Yeah, I understand all that. Here's the thing.
I understand all that. However,
but here's the thing. What word did you use? The operative word is quietly.
Yep. Now that attention is on it. Yep.
So here's the thing.
Yep.
We keep on forgetting that we have no real allies in the Democratic Party. Not in the sense that they're going to say, hold my beer and let me go fight some battles for Black people. They're not doing that. And Black folks, people of African descent in this country are at a distinct disadvantage because 1.5 of the two parties don't give a damn about Black people. And Democrats who may support or think the same way that certain folks in the Republican Party think about Black people and race, they get cover from the Republicans, because they can always clutch their pearls and say, oh my God, how horrible these people are, when they really feel the same way. I was reading some stats, reading a poll the other day, even though most polls are a waste of time, but they were saying that the vast majority, a significant majority, like 60% of white people, do not believe in affirmative action. So, and a lot of them are jumping on the bandwagon because, listen, this is open season now on Black. See, 77% of Black Americans compared to 18% of white people support reparations. And what we saw in Tulsa is just an illustration of how they really feel. These people honestly believe that after 400 years, 250 years of chattel slavery, 150 years of Jim Crow, segregation, and all that type of stuff, that they owe African Americans nothing. I mean, the idea that a judge could say that the descendants of the people killed in Tulsa deserve nothing, that they weren't directly involved. I mean, the mayor of Tulsa, his family had been an enslaving family for generations, and he was like, well, what in 2022 there's no connection. Why are we in the present paying for something that happened in the past? They're a bunch of goddamn criminals, and they're basic. And so every day, the black people that run around telling us, trust the law, trust these people,
Trust the process.
trust the process. They themselves are showing us that they're liars, and that the process doesn't mean anything because they are not interested in it. And it's okay, because I still believe that the reckoning is coming. They kept on saying that the reckoning was coming after George Floyd. Wait and see what's coming. And I'm not a biblical anything. I know the Bible, but I'm not a biblical scholar. But you can't tell me that the hurricanes and the flooding and all of the tornadoes and all that stuff isn't some type of compensation, recompense for what they've done. You can't get away.
Mm. Well, I guess he broke that down, Austin.
He broke that down. Amen. Let the church say amen.
Power 96 says the only process that I trust is growing my locks.
Yeah.
So now we
But
know.
but
has
seriously, following up on Barrington, the ruling regarding affirmative action by the Supreme Court, was with regard to education, admissions. But I think it was Barrington who pointed out that with this bill in the State House, now move over to the State Senate in California, the light is on it now. And the point I'm trying to make is affirmative action is going to be under the spotlight even more because of the Supreme Court decision in every aspect of our life, because there will be some who will argue that if this bill goes through and judges do take this and take a person's race into account, that is a form of affirmative action for defendants. So brace yourself.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point. Joni King says, "Say that, Mr. Barrington." Love it. I absolutely.
But you know what's interesting? They have spent more than 2 years in California, the Reparations Commission, and they came back with their recommendations in July.
Last month. Late last month.
Late last month.
Mm-hmm.
But already, folks are saying, we ain't got no money.
Right.
Where the money gonna come from? So don't be surprised if the what we see in front of us isn't gonna gather dust on a shelf.
Well, yeah.
Because there's no impetus for them, really. I mean, because one of the things that is so egregious when it comes to us is that it's always substance over style over substance.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll do certain things and say, look at what we did. And then all it is just performative. So unless they take the steps that are necessary to put money behind these recommendations, it's just going to be another effort, another failed effort on the part of people who really don't want to balance scales.
Mm-hmm.
I know where they can get some of the money from is Ukraine. I mean, I look, I want to be helpful to Ukraine, but let me tell you something. It seems like every other day there is a new aid package that's not just weapons, but money that is going to Ukraine. I think I heard last week and this invasion was in February of last year.
Yeah.
And to be clear, Putin is wrong. He should not have invaded Ukraine. But when I think last week I heard it's like 47 or 48 aid packages have been approved for Ukraine.
Well, it's north of $70 billion now. what they say.
Wow.
But I'm going to say something, and I don't really care.
And and if I can interrupt you, brother, where was that 70 billion before the invasion? They find the money for
They
what they
always
want.
find the money. But I would say something. You want to find some money for reparations? Snatch back a piece, a section, a portion, a segment of the $3 billion a year you give in Israel to continue to maintain an apartheid system against Palestinians.
Let me
$3 billion a year.
Let me call your attention to something Greer just sent over to me, and I saw this. I've seen this the last couple of days on social media. You guys were talking about affirmative action, and these is a photo, and they're sitting at. If Greer can bring that photo up, that would be fantastic. But they're sitting at on a beach or something here, and Jamel Hill says it's the social media teams for major brands and sports teams who tweet using Black Twitter lingo. And every single one of these, you talk about affirmative action and diversity, every single one of them are white.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. These white men, white women, and they're all young too, pretty much.
Yeah. But you know the question I always ask Stacey and Austin, are we to believe that in the American ecosystem, that the smartest, the most innovative, the most creative are only white people? Because they keep on trying to tell us this garbage, that this is a meritorious system. That regardless of where you're from, if you have the skills, the knowledge, and the experience. Oh yeah,
Here's that picture.
I saw this one.
That's the diversity, equity, and inclusion folks. Where's the diversity? Where's the diversity? Where's the equity? And where's the inclusion in that?
I saw the picture, but I didn't know what it was. It didn't have a caption when I saw it.
Yeah, I saw it exactly, Barrington. That was, and I just kept scrolling. I just thought it was a commercial for something.
Yeah.
And this is for where?
Well, okay, so the user at Diaspora Dash says the tenured professors, director, and leadership at the Afro-Latin Institute at Harvard. And Jamel Hill tweets that the social media teams for major brands and sports teams who tweet using Black Twitter lingo. Now, I think Jamel Hill's tweet was just making a point.
Yeah.
But I think this at Diaspora Dash's tweet is what it really is. The tenured professors, director, and leadership at the Afro-Latin Institute at Harvard. Afro-Latin?
Yeah.
I mean, look, let's be fair.
You have it. You do.
She says, wait. She says that Greer said people are just putting captions on them. They are all making a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I think we have to be fair here, and there is diversity in this photo. Some are grinning, some are not. Some have beards, some are clean shaven, some have blonde hair, some have are brunettes.
Some are women, some are men, and some maybe
exactly
non-binary and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
so
man, I went.
And it's also diversity here because they are not drinking, the same liquor or the same food, from what I can tell. So there's diversity in this picture.
There's diversity. Lots of
what
diversity.
But
what a shame.
But my brothers, this time, I mean, this in my mind, who is this? Dennis? Oh, geez, really?
Lord.
Ice Cube?
Well, here's the thing. Listen. I will have to say this, everyone keeps hammering Ice Cube, but where is your plan? Where's your plan? Where's this guy's plan? He's going to who's listening to him, right?
Listen, but Stacey.
You're in trouble when Barrington calls your name.
I know. It's like your parent calling you by your middle name.
That's like, and Stacey, you look nervous. You're like, yes, mommy, yes, daddy.
Listen. You know what the problem is?
Yes.
We don't have any real leaders.
Well, right. It underscores that.
And let me be clear. I'm not saying that we don't have leaders.
Mhm.
What has been foisted on us hasn't worked for a long time.
Mhm.
And as we talked about before, the folks in major leadership positions do not have a succession plan.
Right.
Have generally not made space for young people and for other diverse types of Africans in this country to step into leadership and that type of thing.
Mhm.
Entertainers and celebrities are not leaders.
No, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They're not
Mm-hmm.
leaders. There's no other group of people in this country, and except when you have like a Ronald Reagan or an idiot like Trump who slipped through. Most of the people are not entertainers. We're the only ones that have all these entertainers that we look to for leadership.
Right.
It's madness.
Yeah, and
Schwarzenegger broke through.
yeah,
And
and
what
I
was the
also
former wrestler Ventura? So you've had a few to break through,
You've
but
had a few.
no shining examples.
You had a few.
Ronald
But
Reagan.
every time, and I mean, I I I I give Ice Cube credit
Mhm.
because he's at least doing the work.
He's trying.
But
He's
but
he's
listen,
looking for some sort of solution that's probably not there, but yet he's looking for it.
he's getting ready to hit the trifecta. Donald Trump first, and then Robert Kennedy Jr. second. Man,
Well,
No,
now,
exactly.
so here's the thing. That again, I hate to be the defender here, but
who are you
eh,
defending?
well, Ice Cube, because here's the thing. He never, and this is the label he's wearing right now. He never endorsed Donald Trump, right? He hasn't endorsed RFK. What he's doing
Pictures
is
with 1,000 words,
So
Stacy.
who else is he meeting with?
so. Wait a minute now.
Thank you.
Who else?
Who else is
His
he? We're not seeing it. We're not seeing.
remember,
it.
remember,
Mhm.
remember, guys. The Biden team refused to meet with him.
Yeah.
Right?
That was
He
their
can't meet
stupidity.
with somebody who refuses to
But
meet with him.
Stacy, but that makes it sound like Joe Biden won't meet with me, so I'm going to go meet Barrington Salmon.
Wait, but
What
here's the
hell?
thing. Who's to say that RFK didn't seek him out, knowing that? So recently, before that picture, um, Ice Cube had a monologue on social media, and he started talking about how he was going to make the rounds on every podcast, every broadcast. People are going to hear him out,
Yeah.
right? Thus, following that, you had this meeting, or at least a photo op.
Here it says RFK sought him out.
Yeah. Yes. So this is where I'm going. And
Okay.
so, because he
will.
knows that this guy is trying. He's trying to say somebody, and Ice Cube said it himself a couple of years ago when all the controversy happened. He said, well, why don't somebody else, then if I'm not the one to do it, somebody else do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nobody stepped up.
No, but we lazy. We're lazy, Stacy.
Right. So you
We
can't.
always want other people to do our work. But here's the thing.
Right. So you can't go after him for that, though.
But here's the thing. We have to become politically sophisticated enough that we don't get used by people that don't mean us any good. I have a lot of issues with Robert Kennedy Jr. with the stuff that he's talking.
Yep.
He sounds
Yep,
like a goddamn nutcase.
He's nuts. He's nuts. He's
A lot of
nuts.
people say that.
And keep in mind, and
He's
I'm sorry,
holding
sorry,
20%.
Barrington.
No, last thing. He has about 20% support.
Yeah, his support is rising.
Yeah.
And he has the potential to do exactly what his uncle Teddy did in 1980.
Invite the Republicans to win.
And exactly.
Okay, so then with that said, then knowing that you guys know that, but guess who else knows that? The Biden administration knows that, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
They ain't doing nothing.
Whose fault is that?
Their fault.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's their fault.
I mean, try to keep your, what they say, keep your enemies closer. Try and keep your nuts closer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I guess Biden is dependent on the political sophistication of Democratic voters.
Well, he's like, I think you've said it many times. This what do you call it? Traditionalist or institutionalist?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
he's not going to color outside the lines, Stacy.
Right.
He's not going to color outside the lines, which makes me crazy because
I know it does.
No, because listen, We are not living in normal times. We're not living in a normal political environment. So you have to adapt to the circumstances. And Democrats are always a day late and a dollar short for everything.
Daniela Pierre says that
Mm.
not only is a succession plan lacking, but it appears leaders don't have enough support to push, promote, activate solutions for the 21st century.
She's
But
right.
here's the thing, Stacey. I don't know that we need 565 Black organizations with the same agenda, similar message. At some point, folks need to start coming together, but people's egos are so big. I got to be the head cheese for the Barrington Salmon Institute, right? So at some point, for strategic sense, says that you got to start sublimating your ego and joining with other folks, pulling your resources together, putting your ideas together. Everybody doesn't have to be a leader.
You need followers.
But we have the problem that everybody wants to be in charge. That's
Yeah.
our problem. So a lot of this is strategy or lack thereof.
And and Stacey, did you say that RFK has 20% support?
Yes, 20%. Yeah, 20% support.
That's
Kennedy.
a concern.
Kennedy.
That's a concern.
The name.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a name. America wants to return to Camelot.
Well, yeah. Well, we wanted to return to Camelot in 1980, and we what was that? Morning in America and all that. That nonsense we got. We got Ronald Reagan. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Voodoo economics.
Mr. Welfare Queen. Mr. Let me open my presidential campaign in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Yeah.
How come Biden they're starting to call it Bidenomics? I don't like that for some reason.
Right.
It's not original. That's probably why I don't like it. Bidenomics. You remember Reaganomics?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now everything that the White House sends out is with the hash Bidenomics.
Well, I mean, it makes sense in a way, because if and I don't know if this is true or not, but if Reaganomics had some type of positive patina, then you can get some of that sheen by using onomics, Bidenomics or whatever. So that's what I'm assuming. I'm not a marketing person.
Obviously what they're highlighting is all the success he's had in turning the economy around and doing a lot of good things as far as the economy is concerned. But Bidenomics, they got to come up with something else. I think
it makes sense though, because once again, Democrats are shy about touting their accomplishment, because John Cornyn the other day sent out a tweet or something talking about all the broadband money coming to Texas when the SOB
didn't vote for it. Yep.
And all of them voted against it, and now they're running up and down America talking about look what we did, and the Democrats ain't telling them and letting the people know that these idiots didn't vote for it.
Well. The city of Memphis, guys, they have objected. They filed a motion to have a lawsuit dismissed. The lawsuit is brought by the family of Tyree Nichols. The family is seeking $550 million in damages. Of course, Ben Crump is saying, "You guys are out of your mind, trying to get this suit dismissed. What these officers did to Tyree Nichols." The document claims that the police chief was wrongfully hired by the city after she was allegedly part of Atlanta's #Red Dog unit that would ambush and aggressively harass the community. But that's true, right? She put that Red Dog unit together in Atlanta and got fired, as was the end result, right?
Yeah. This ain't going nowhere.
Mm-mm.
They're not going to dismiss it.
Nor should it.
I believe
and she should be ashamed of herself for the position that she has taken. I mean, I understand she had to do it because she's the police chief, but
No.
Where's principle in this?
They
Austin.
said,
Austin.
wait, they said, Barrington, they're saying that the city strongly believes that the brutal beating of Tyree Nichols doesn't reflect Memphis, but it's only reflective of those 5 cops.
Yeah, whatever.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. For the amount of time that I've spent
in unit,
interviewing
5 former officers accused of
interviewing police officers, folks who are in law enforcement, the mentality that these folks have, and it's interesting. One of the things that we should be looking at is that you have significant numbers of police officers that served in Iraq, served in Afghanistan, or in the military. And the mentality and mindset is that basically the folks that they are overseeing are occupied people. A lot of communities, Black communities in this country, are occupied by the cops, and they treat them as such. So the Red Dog and the Scorpion, that is a way. And listen, it's only recently that people have been banging out against these units. In all of the tough on crime people have always supported this. So this is just a continuation of a mentality, and they have no problem being brutish and brutal to Black people. So this is just a continuation of the narrative of the slave catchers evolving in 2023, supposedly evolving, only evolving in terms of the types of tactics and the instruments they use to oppress people.
Well, here's the question: $550 million. Do you think that the city should have to pay that amount?
I think the police department and the police union, and they should be taking money out of the pensions of those who are of the police who are doing this, because we are the ones paying it.
Right.
The taxpayer. Exactly. Exactly.
And it won't stop until it starts hurting these police that are doing this.
Well, and you're 100% right. But I will say this: it would be amazing. It would be great, I think, to see a judgment of $550 million come down, because it would just be so stunning that perhaps because they are not doing anything else with the qualified immunity, et cetera, et cetera. And you're right, taxpayers have to foot the bill, but it would be I think that would shake things up. And I think Ben Crump is smart here, because the biggest award, of course, was Floyd at $28 million, which is a far cry from $500 million. But what price of life?
That's a question we ask every day, Stacey. What is the value of a life? And they make it very clear to us that only white lives have value.
But will it really change? I mean, it's significant. It would be historic. It would certainly be symbolic. Certainly,
and what a statement.
Well to hell of a statement. But at the end of the day, will it really change? To Barrington's point, and your point as well, Stacey, if it's not coming, some of it coming out of the pockets of these police officers.
The bottom line, and you guys said it, and Power 96 is saying, if these judgments, these monetary judgments would come out of these officers' pension, it would stop.
It would.
Yeah.
It would.
And that's the bottom line.
Take money from the police unions, because the police unions are the most regressive, racist, nasty. And you know what's interesting? If you go back and you look at all of these cops that have killed, not just Black people, that have killed people, mostly unarmed Black people, what's the first thing that happens? The PBA comes out and says, we support Stacey and Austin and Barrington 100%.
No matter what we've done, no matter what we've done, no matter how heinous our crimes have been.
What they've done. You notice nobody came out and supported these 5 brutes.
You're right. They were
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
They were.
Right away, it was hands off.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that they thought that they would have gotten the white treatment that other white police have gotten, white and Latino and other police. But they cut them Negroes loose 2 seconds after
That's right.
after the
That's
incident.
right.
Yeah, immediately. We talked about it at that time. We had not seen such
Ever,
swift
ever,
action ever.
ever,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
because
They
they
left those boys out to dry.
they fired them. Then they had the grand jury right away, and they came up with the second-degree murder charges, like
Yeah.
in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was a blink of an eye.
And then they released all of the body cam video.
But and you're right. You said something there too about these black officers when they think that they're going to get that same treatment. I bet for black officers around the country, this was a wake up call for them too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny because when I used to be on the police beat and used to go out to incidents and all that stuff, some of them black cops were the worst ones.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
They were the worst ones. And they'd be getting up in your face and they'd be like, bruh, I'm doing my job. But I've talked to other police officers who said that they have to show their fellow officers that they're a part of the blue.
Tough. Tough. Yeah.
That they're a part of the blue.
And those 5 officers that were, the Tyree Nichols murder, you cannot say that none of them, all of them, did not experience repeated various forms of racism.
Yeah.
As members of that police force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so why would you think? Why would you be comfortable? Why would you even consider that if I do something crazy, they're going to back me up?
But it's the same syndrome like the Clarence Thomas syndrome. Because he's been lucky so far because they're backing up his theft and his egregious behavior, his malfeasance.
For now, right?
But generally they don't. Because I always I tell all of the young people who I mentor and who I spend time around, please don't make the mistake of thinking you can do what these white boys do and get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Harriet Tubman would have had one conversation with Clarence Thomas in Maryland.
She wouldn't have had
and returned him to the plantation.
No,
I'm going to go back and return you.
It wouldn't have been a conversation. It would have been a bullet. She wouldn't have had no conversation with that clown.
No conversation, huh?
No conversation.
No need, huh?
No. Why waste your time and your breath?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, Barrington, what you say? Burn it down.
Burn it down.
So, Austin, how long?
Because they should have a second conflagration in Tulsa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Since that's how they're gonna play.
Power 96 says there are 2 black cops on death row in New Orleans. Lynn Davis and another black female cop.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm familiar with that one, but
I heard that 2 black cops. Really?
Yeah, that's interesting. Now we're gonna have to look into it.
Oh, I'm gonna go look.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we go, Austin, so how long are you gonna be gone?
I leave on Sunday, get back Monday.
Wow.
Have fun.
Yeah, so thank you. It's a 24-hour journey, 26-hour journey to get here.
Yeah.
And 26 hours to get back.
Get back.
And you're gonna go buy some sort of jacket or something, sweater, scarf.
I may go out and get a scarf. I've got I'll be wearing a suit, but I do need and gentlemen, I'm not lucky like you, Stacey, to have hair, so my head gets cold. So I was raised that you don't wear a hat inside, but I asked my parents to forgive me because my head gets cold real easy, and I may be walking around that conference with my baseball cap on.
Yeah. Because I mean, during the winter, I got to have my hat or cap.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And Barrington, who are you representing on your shirt again?
this is Che Guevara.
Yes, indeed, you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I got it. If I'm going to be a billboard, it's going to be a billboard for a reason. No, I'm not going to have Volvo and
Yeah, right.
Procter and Gamble on my shirt.
Mm.
So
All right. Power 96 said, "Fight the power, Barrington.
Yes,
Fight
sir.
the power."
That's
Every
right.
day,
That's right.
every day,
Oh gosh,
every day.
listen.
So
Well,
Stacey, you say you're coming to DC.
yes.
Will I see you before you leave? Because I know you just swoop in and swoop out. You
You
know what he
might.
does, Austin?
Huh?
You know what he does all the time? He's like,
What?
Barrington, I'm coming to DC. And I'm like, we're gonna get together, yeah. And then the next time he calls, he's on, where are you? I'm on the train. He's trifling.
Listen, I gotta catch my Excella, man.
Yeah, but you need to give some time to regular folk.
Is that what I gotta do?
Yeah, because Austin, years ago when he was here,
Excuse me.
I took him to a Jamaican restaurant.
Oh man, we have some
He lost his mind.
oxtails.
He got
Oh,
up,
oxtail. Oh my God, I would love to have some
and stuff.
oxtail.
And every time I talk to him, he's like, so when you gonna take me to get some oxtail? When you bring your butt here, so and I see you, then you can go. So
No, seriously, the three of us, the four of us have to get together
We
and do
do.
some oxtail somewhere
we do,
before the end of the summer.
we do. You know,
Does Grit eat oxtails? I don't think Grit eats
but
oxtails.
Austin, I'm not paying Stacey any mind. You don't live that far from me, so we gonna go and eat and send pictures to Stacey. Look at what you missed.
Okay.
Don't
Deal.
agree with that, Austin.
Are you feeling pressured, Stacey?
No pressure, but
we want you to feel pressure.
No, this one here, he ain't gonna feel no pressure. Oh, Greer said she tries to eat live food. Oh, what is live food? Rabbit food?
live food only.
It's live
Enjoy.
food.
Yeah, what is that? What is
Live food.
green?
Fish flopping on a plate.
No. She says green. She in other words, she eats better than us.
But you know what the irony is?
Healthy.
You know what the irony is? All of them people are eating green, they dying as well. So what's the advantage?
I'm having some oxtails. That's the advantage.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go. Oxtail, and Barrington likes to have the rum with it.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I can deal. I can relate. Absolutely.
You know, I got
oxtail, rice and peas or white rice.
Oh,
Mm.
rice and peas. Oh my God.
Oh gosh, I got a train to catch, guys.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, Austin. Safe travels out there.
Thank you.
Have
Love you
fun.
guys.
Barrington, see you soon.
Thank you.
You all for watching. See you tomorrow.
Take care.